How's it going, everyone? This is Paul Garcia of the Spot Up Shot. In this video, what I want to do is I took 4 clips from the Spurs Rockets game on Monday, October 28th, and I kind of just want to dive into these clips. Some of them are plays on offense and also some plays on defense regarding the Spurs in this game against the Rockets on Monday. Okay, so in this first possession I want to look at, the Spurs begin in a spread pick and roll formation. And Jeremy Sochan is going to set a high screen for Stephon Castle. After Sochan makes contact with Castle's defender, he rolls to the rim. At the same time, once Sochan sets that screen, Castle is also driving toward the rim. As we pause here, we want to talk about the 2 corner shooters that the Spurs have in place. They have Julian Champagnie and Harrison Barnes, so that means that the opponent defense, their corner defenders, don't want to help out too much because they'd be leaving an open 3-point shooter. Then there's Zach Collins also out on the arc, who is spacing as well to pull away the big that's guarding him. So that means that it's a 2 versus 2 pick and roll, and now the defense has to make a choice. Do they try to cut off Stephon Castle's layup attempt, or do they try to cut off the outlet pass to Sochan so that he can finish a look at the rim? Castle does a good job here of kind of holding the ball just long enough to kind of draw Şengün, the defender guarding Sochan, enough where then he can give Sochan the pass, and then Sochan finishes the left-handed layup. So let's go ahead and roll the tape. Okay, so this next play is not necessarily a play breakdown. What I wanted to highlight here was how Malaki Branham gets himself open. So as you're going to see in the clip, it's a play toward the end of the third quarter where the Spurs are on the break. Branham's out on the arc 3. The Spurs throw him the ball. He pump fakes, and then the defender flies by him. Then he takes one dribble to his left, and then he gets good momentum on his shot, and he shoots the shot and makes it nothing but net. And there again, I wanted to just highlight just the way that Branham was able to get himself open on this specific shot. And this is going to be key for Branham because we do know that Devin Vassell should be returning to the lineup soon here when the calendar flips to November. Later next week, basically. And so for Branham, this is going to be important that he can be an option from the outside. If the Spurs need some shooting out there and some offensive spacing, that's something that he showed at least in one game for this one night that he could bring that element to the game. And so obviously, it needs to be more sustainable, but at least for the Spurs on this night, it looked good for him. The fact that he was able to make a few threes, and then this specific shot, when they needed a 3, he was able to kind of use that pump fake, use the dribble to his left, and then get the shot to go in. Okay, so now on this next play, this is a set that the Spurs were running multiple times against Houston's defense because they like to have Dillon Brooks guarding Wemby, and then a lot of times Houston's defenders like to send double teams at Victor anytime he kind of put the ball on the floor. So the Spurs would try to set up an offense where Wemby could have some space to operate against Brooks. So in this particular possession, though, Paul gets the ball to Wemby, so he passes to Victor. Victor gets the ball, then Paul swings to the corner to kind of wait there and kind of create a corner option for Victor. At the same time, as Victor has the ball in his hands, Harrison Barnes kind of goes out to the 3-point line. Champagnie kind of slashes a little bit. And now Wemby and Sochan get ready to run a 5-4 pick and roll out right there at the free throw line area. So basically, Sochan goes and sets a pick for Victor. Victor starts to go around the pick. And with one, you have to give credit to Wemby's passing here, his touch passing, being able to throw that alley-oop. But then Sochan does a great job of rolling, and in the air he catches Wemby's lob, and of course Wemby throws the alley-oop to Sochan, and he finishes the possession for the alley-oop dunk. For this clip, I wanted to go through one of the crucial possessions where the Spurs had some miscommunication defensively. This is a play where the Spurs are down by 2 points, and the Rockets have the ball, and there's about 20 seconds left in the game. So what happens here is the Rockets, as the game progressed, they kept trying to go to those guard screens like they did in the previous game on Saturday. And so what happens is Fred VanVleet goes to set a pick for Jalen Green. Jalen Green uses the pick, and then VanVleet flashes out here so that he gets himself open. Now, Jeremy Sochan did admit this. He said post-game that he and Keldon Johnson had a communication error where they were supposed to basically switch the action, but what happens is they made that error, and both Sochan and Keldon end up going toward the ball, and that left VanVleet wide open for the 3. And of course, all Jalen Green had to do was throw the ball to VanVleet, Malaki Branham tried to close out, but he was too late. Again, he was supposed to basically still be guarding Jabari Smith Jr. And so VanVleet hits the open three. And again, like I said, post game, not Keldon, but Jeremy Sochan did say he and Keldon had a miscommunication error. And this is kind of one of those scenarios where this can happen to a young team like the Spurs, where they are going to have some communication difficulties, especially that it was just their second crunch time game of the season. And of course, I do want to say what Jalen Green said post game. He basically said that had the Spurs switched and just maybe Keldon was guarding him, he was going to attack the ISO. But since he saw that they both went toward him, both Sochan and Keldon, then Green said he was ready to throw the pass to Fred VanVleet. Okay, so that was just a few clips that I wanted to highlight from the Spurs Rockets game. Instead of going fully in depth on on almost every single action like I did on the first game against the Spurs and the Rockets, you can look at that piece that I wrote. It was a film rewatch series over on the spotupshot.com. Just make sure to continue to check the Spot Up Pod feed on YouTube for these videos, and then also, of course, I'm going to put these videos as well on the spotupshot.com my Substack newsletter.